We talked about LDLC exceeding low expectations coming into this season so far, but NiP still proving too much for them to handle. With just that one win, you saw on the break screen, NiP has jumped 4 spots to number 9. So all of a sudden, very much back in the playoff picture with this new recruit, Draken. And Henry, I know as a fanboy, you must be just grinning inside.
Sort of, yeah.
Certainly not doing it outside.
It's certainly better than it was. It's getting better from going from like almost dead last to kind of, if they win this map, they'll be like 6th place, actually automatically in the bracket there to actually make the final.
That'd be good stuff.
That'd
be very, very good stuff, yeah. And Chad, I know, we talked a lot, man for man, you and Henry both agree that NiP just outskills this roster, but one thing they do have is existence. One of the most legendary, one of the most storied in-game leaders in CSGO history. I know you have a little bit of a clip to kind of outline the strategies of this team.
Oh, this came a bit earlier than expected, Jason.
Oh, we can wait.
No, that's fine. Let's do the clip. Anyway, they don't have the skill, but they have the strategies. This is an aggressive CT move that you can do, and I thought it was quite unique the way they did it. This is a one-way smoke right here that Existence is about to throw. So just highlighting that they're playing 3 players towards the A bomb site, which is unusual, and 2 players towards the B bomb site. The 2 players towards the B bomb site are actually going to play retake. Smoke comes in. Existence is going to push out to the right side of the smoke while Maniac goes to the left and uses the one-way. He pushes through and he checks the most common spot, which is this window. Grabs a nice cheeky little frag there. And now we're going to highlight where Maniac is. I think I quick change over to him. Let's see how good I am. And this is a one-way smoke that you can use, right? Yeah, and you can just kind of, he can check, he can clear to make sure no one's going over towards the A bomb site. At this point now, they have a pretty good idea that it's going to be a B hit. And Mouse Sports, in this case, they just do that B execute that they were going to do regardless. You can see that where the 2 players are playing, they're just covering drop and they're just spotting for B platform information. B execute is going to come in any minute now. And the way the LDLC do it is the 2 players at that B site just sit back, let them execute onto the site, let them go into their post-plant positions, use all their utility. They have the number advantage and they're keen for the retake. So this is the strat based off this. Toyna using the rock to get a nice little kill over the smoke there. The rest of the teammates are all coming in. And this is a pre-planned thing, right? The fact that they're going to do this B retakes. They all know, let's wait for the smokes to dissipate. Now let's go in together. Existence is going to find nice 2 frags here. They do their best to lose it to Spitty. He grabs 3 frags, but Toyna is able to finish him off here in the end. But basically, they're using, an aggressive CT move on that first gun round to really catch Mouse Sports off guard. And that's one of the things that LDLC have in their arsenal that a lot of other teams don't have. You look at a Fnatic, they don't really have that CT kind of, not aggression, they definitely have aggression, but the plan isn't there. That's something predetermined, that's something that they've worked on, that's a strat that Existence has come up with and they've dry run, and they all know how the parts work.
Well, that's when we talk about theoretical counter-strike on the desk, that's where that comes into play, where you say, we're going to do this. If X happens, this is how we respond over here.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of teams do. That's what Existence brings to the table.
Yeah.
Is there anything now on Cbble that we can see that LDLC is going to be able to? Did you see anything on Train that makes you a believer that they're going to have what it takes here?
I saw Maniac. He was looking very good, to be fair to him. Like, he's one of the players we discussed going into this one, and he actually was going above and beyond in that first half. So, in terms of, I haven't really watched many of the Cbble games. It's difficult to give you that much.
We saw your boy Alex from the UK.
What about him?
He's
not really from the UK. Yeah, I guess he kind of is.
We've determined, Jason, you might have missed this. He's fake.
Oh. Okay, I don't think not my words.
He's a fake Brit.
All right.
I think he was born there, so I think it counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a.
You've got a British passport yourself,
so
I'm fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see, the firepower's the issue here, whereas you can look at this map for them, you don't have to be as aggressive on the CT side like we just saw them do.
Yeah.
You can maybe have Toyna being that turret on the B site with the AWP in Coop or on Statue, but once he gets found out, which NiP are going to be very good at doing, they're going to have a rough time. I think for LDLC going into this, if you're expecting them just to do the same old NiP jump smoke fakes, then you're going to have a rough time, because I think the way that they're adjusting here is they look like they're searching for more picks as opposed to going for the executes. So they're doing the executes or more late round, or they're either using it like we saw on Train as a way to force the CTs to rotate how they want them to. Train's a bit easier to do the executes on as opposed to the B site on Cbble. There's so many different corners to check as you're filtering off the broken wall and platform.
Here's a question I want to kind of explore a little bit. Cbble is, as a map, we've talked about it, how a little bit critical of the map and its layout, and that there's not a whole lot of options for CT teams to be aggressive and make kind of plays that you might want to make on other maps. Draken, with as proactive he is with the AWP, is he going to be a little bit hampered in his style?
There are options on CTU as an AWPer, especially. That's probably one of the few roles that actually has options to actually go towards middle. Similar to using that smoke Chad pointed out, you can throw that same smoke a little bit shallower, and you can see towards top of middle, get a lot of information there at the start. It's quite a safe pick. Same way you can go towards long A, do the same thing. I would say that's one of the riskier ones on the map. It's like you chuck that in once a half maybe. Obviously off the platform as well, boost towards drop down. There's not as many options, sure. Like you can't be as flamboyant as an AWPer. AWPer, but you certainly can dictate some sort of pace of the round.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's going to be able to do that on Cbble. We'll have to see if LDLC is going to have a playbook, a strategy to overcome NiP on this map, see if they can go for one for the evening. We're going to send it over to Mitch and Lauren for the second map.
Thank you very much, Moses. Cobblestone, something we haven't seen actually in a little while, Lauren, here, at least on the streamed games between NiP and LDLC. The information game is strong in this one, Lauren. It can be pretty tricky for CTs to actually get a read on the T side. And I kind of like that we brought up on the desk talking about Draken and if he'd be able to go for this aggression on the CT side, especially as an AWPer.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a big factor for him. I'm wondering how much impact he can have. But again, same can be said for Twanu, but he didn't particularly have that impactful game that I was expecting on Train. It was more, as I said, the fake Brit Alex and Maniac. Now, they were right on the desk. Alex speaks fluent French. He's lived there for years. He barely counts.
He lives in the UK now,
Does
to be
he?
fair. He's back in the UK, yeah.
Okay, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't know what to expect from LDLC. It's you know, balls in their core. They can do what they want with this one. NiP, you hold themselves to, well, you should be holding them to a higher standard. They were very innovative on this map quite some time ago, if I can use my words. But yeah, we'll see what they bring on this one. I'm hoping it's not the same old look of NiP, but who knows?
We didn't love that. We didn't love the old
What is this?
NiP on this map. Well, this is CT aggression, Lauren, I guess, with pistols. Maniac's really always gone for it. Hammer and tongs. Unfortunately, for him, it's not big. Twani might have an opportunity. No, okay, it's just going to be a meat grinder of a round.
What are these pistol rounds from LDLC?
Disrespecting NiP, hoping to get him by surprise, getting completely mashed. All the above, you decide.
Yeah, no, I'm not sold on these pistol rounds. We saw it on Train as well, that aggression they like to bring out. I guess it can catch some people out, but the sad fact is that for them, the NiP were just walking right at them. By the time they actually took the fights, they were nice and close, and the Glock still came through.
Is that lazy for you, Lauren? Like, we see the pistol round strats from LDLC often involve this aggression and contact play. Would you like to see a little bit more of a structured approach from them?
I actually don't mind it. I really don't. In the right places, it can be quite nice, but I think using it in a couple of times already, it's not going to be catching anyone out here, but it is a bit of a stack. Well, I say a stack. 4-1 isn't even that much these days, really, especially on Cbble. It can be played into gun rounds, so it doesn't really indicate too much of them, but they are going to put all their players trying to watch towards as much as they can. So you've got, I think, Existence sitting kind of anti-flash, trying to support Alex as well. Then you've got Twanu at the back by Chicken Coop. Mistu as well playing that kind of like slice spot. And then Alex as well in drop. And then Maniac having to just kind of feel it out over by A. Now, NiP are in no rush. They want to find out what's going on here. That's their main goal here, is just find out, have they gone for that 5-man stack? Have they put players in somewhere unorthodox? How are we going to find this out? Okay, so it looks like a little bit of a tentative play up towards A long. It's not a bad plan. A lot of teams do like to do the stack, though, so we'll see. A little bit of a flash through. That's going to be Forrest and Drake and working their way up. The bomb's actually coming over, so far this is a nice little read into it. Good mental kind of approach so far from NiP. Freiberg can just hold the back if he wants to, play through drop if he wanted, or he can just join the others just a little bit later, put out some utility towards B, so keeping those players on B as long as possible, allowing NiP up long.
Nice
Maniac's heard it now, so he's safe from wood. It's when they take the wide swing, he comes into effect. Good stuff, but now it's how much more can I do? Well, that's something. The follow-up kill is quite impressive there, but it's still going to swing in favor towards NiP until the reinforcements arrive.
Yeah, the pistol challenges are really actually paying off for LDLC. It's close range stuff. The fact that Maniac can get a 180 and still get a pistol kill was pretty nice. Definitely a clench moment. But Existence now has the opportunity to get a drop on NiP, but Exist was there just after planting the bomb. He saves Get Right's life, and then he finishes the round himself. And some value gained with those pistols for LDLC, playing it up quite close. But again, I do like that smoking towards connector from that T side. It really does force CTs to work in and jump down, you know, from Juliet and have to fight that way.
That was a good little round from LDLC. I quite like that. A little bit of damage dealt. Good enough. You got to take the small victories at this point. May not win you the war, but certainly get you back in the fight. So at the moment, we've got the farming team coming out, and one of them's Drake, and he wants to get all that money. Now that sounds good to be heard, but that's fine. He wants the attention. He wants the kills. He wants the frags. He's going to get him. That's 3. No more to be found for him as he gets picked up by Maniac, but the damage is done. The SMG's cleaned up every single kill that round, 2 to the UMP and 3 to the MAC-10 on Draken. So he's going to be sitting on a nice round summit. I think it's about 6.3k, so he can get himself on the AWP if he fancies as well. We'll see what he goes for. Doesn't necessarily have to do it. T-side AWP on this map can be quite tricky, but he has been gifted that one over, if I'm not mistaken. So Get Right happy to stay on the UMP, plays it well towards drop. We've seen that plenty of times, so not too shocking. And on the other side, bare minimum, but at least a decent buy.
Yeah. And this is a map that's maybe not as AWP-centric as Train, for example, but there are still a lot of opportunities to put it to good use. Virtus Pro, for example, stacked 2 players on B platform on the CT side, and can usually play in tandem with that and sort of hold it. That was maybe we'll see a bit more of that now if Pasha's AWPing again. That was always fun. 3 players stacked towards danger, though, for LDLC.
This could be really good as well, because I think there's a player boosted up in towards that little kind of alcove, and then Existence there as well, and then Mistu's now going to be smoked out. Problem is, no one's watching the push-up through middle. That means they get complete access to the site and be completely railroaded on towards on. GetRight's going to worry about this now, and he actually beats Existence. That's huge. NiP, without necessarily even knowing it, negate going on long, and then just reap the benefits. Oh, that's disgusting. Just glocked the face off of Maniac. Oh, that's rough. It's save time for LDLC.
Those smokes were really well placed by NiP, though. They had every angle covered. And what they actually managed to do was corral 3 players from LDLC on towards A long because they couldn't get to the side unless they pushed to smoke. That was where GetRight got that win out against Maniac. Or was it Existence? Regardless. Very nice. Reminds me of Virtus Pro's screen off when they hit that A side as well. In fact, NiP's is even more elaborate. Oh, that's not nice. No AWP for Twanu. And Alex is endangered species right now. He does get the kill on towards Freiberg. I think Exist. No, he doesn't go for the AWP. Doesn't need it. That's fine. 1 player loss for NiP in that round. Incredibly clean push on that T side. And this was Draken earlier on making some serious cash money.
The Mac Daddy. Just going for it.
The Mac Sugar Daddy now.
Yes. Yes, he is. Now, Freiberg onto the Mac 10, so he's going to be trying to get to anywhere he can to farm up some kills. So maybe you can head towards drop. You can actually just barrel out towards the ledge as well, just jump in. You can be so mobile with the Mac 10, so it can actually work really well. Just go through that little bit of a broken piece of wall there, just go first in, just make sure people trade off him. Alex is going to be a bit cheeky, get himself up towards the platform, but they do have Molotovs on the NiP side. And Alex, you better be ready, but he just sprays in. He's going to catch one. Drake is down low, and actually he's in a really good spot. But too many ninjas around him, and he can't find a single one.
He's done a lot of damage, though. Draken and Freiberg are very, very low. Misty can really do damage here with the pistol. Finds the first, looking for the second. Exist was the player with the full health, but now that's been changed. Down to 9, 3v2. Molotov sort of thrown out, but mostly extinguished. Exist and Draken are both low on HP. That means GetRight needs to step up to the plate here and do a lot of the damage to neutralize these 2 final players from LDLC. The upside for NiP is that they haven't recovered any of these weapons. Still playing with the pistols and armor.
Existence looking to find GetRight, but he's going to make sound when he drops in here. So GetRight's surely going to hear this. Yeah, now he has with the steps. Turns it well. Not going to be caught out, but Maniac going to find him, and now it should be the easier players left, considering look at the HP 4 on Drake. The plot is for him, and he's not going to let it slip. 4 HP, but the AWP comes through for him, and he keeps the round in check.
Definitely a little closer at the end of the round than NiP would have liked, but economically speaking, they really don't have any concerns. LDLC again buy up with a similar buy we saw a few rounds back, 20 with that AWP. NiP will be cognizant of this as well. I hope to see another nice elaborate execute like the one we saw on the A site before. That was very clean.
Well, NiP are known for innovating on this map. We saw those very unique smokes that people still talk about to this date. So, again, that could be a very interesting factor if they have something new up their sleeve. But so far, they're playing just good CS, good fundamentals at the moment. They've got a great read on how the LDLC like to play. Existence has to pull himself back now and play towards that door because we've seen the pushes through mid coming in quite consistently from NiP, making it hard for Maniac to find relevant positioning. But across the board, NiP keeping pressure over at B with existing GetRight, just putting out a bit of utility, keeping them present. But LDLC aren't putting much down in reply. They've still got a very good set to make a play with, or at least deny the play coming out. We'll see what they go for. It could be an A split coming through considering the positions right now, but it depends on Exist and Freiberg, Exist and GetRight if they actually commit here.
Freiberg just checking the spot we saw earlier on. Maniac preparing to re-smoke this. This will probably force NiP away from this particular aperture. Oh, Maniac, that's not what you want at all. Yeah, he was hoping for a little bit more coverage on that smoke. Draken, though, not really taking advantage of it, and Freiberg, though, might. That's one of those little things you just don't want to see.
This is a good read. Tanu's got information here. He's already had a look on the B platform, seen no one there. They've not got much info towards drop, but the point is he can lock this one down. Exist might make it a bit uncomfortable for him, but they've rotated over Maniac now as well. They had Alex sitting pretty close, and you can see Alex now second-guessing this initial call. He's heading back towards B, but NiP, with 3 players left hitting the A side, Maniac goes down, and it's now game on. But 20 seconds left, and Existence in this spot, gonna be hard for him to be flushed out so comfortably.
Well, Get Right has to pay a little bit of health for that previous trade. And most of LDLC will be able to respond to this. Twanu, though, not committed to A yet. He needs to stay back, but Existence has the nice little perch. Gets a kill and is able to back away. That's an ideal situation. But Draken and Freiberg now combining. Might be turning this one around, but the time was not there for NiP. They definitely ran out. Good little stall over on A long made life very hard. And, of course, Twanu had the stopping power at B.
Certainly did. That little bit of information and a bit of a gamble almost. You know, you take a bit of a risk on that and you put that additional player over, you get them ready. And yeah, NiP just ran out of options. They didn't have that many left by the time it got to, you know, the final punch. But 1-5 still good for NiP. Still got money in the bank to make a play with. So don't put him out of it yet. Draken as well, going to be looking towards that middle area early on. But no one's really been playing this actively, excluding the pistol round. So he's not got too much to worry about. But they can slowly get some map control building up towards A if they fancy it. And the same duo over by B again. Last time, the reason it was slightly worked out was just purely because Twanu pushed up towards B plat. They put in another player over. But NiP still so much to play for here. This little flash through just goes in. You can see the impact of that towards Existence. Has to keep himself fully aware and might just stack up with Maniac or just help him out with an additional smoke.
Eyes on the clock this round for NiP. Definitely don't want to repeat this mistake from earlier. That could have been a round they won. Molotov in drop going to be extinguished. However, the smoke prevents further passage for NiP, at least discourages it. Forrest might head in towards danger here. He actually has backup already on A long, so it might be a full challenge. Maniac will have the chance to drop and respond. Existence will have to climb up the hill. So NiP not really committed to anything yet, Lauren. It actually looks like they want to back away over towards B.
About the only thing they do have is the fact that Get Right this time did commit slightly towards drop, so he's got himself down there now. Mistu's playing it, but not actively. He's sitting on the outside of it. Twanu focused towards B plat, and Alex very passive towards window. So LDLC aren't taking active challenges, excluding this. So let's see how much impact he can make here. The quick step out plays them in, turns the flash well, readjusts, get ready, but just caught out a bit of the timing there, but still catches Freiberg. One man slipped through. That's Forrest, but Forrest falls. And now Draken replies, but it's a 3v3, 15 seconds. The clock is ticking, and they don't have time for this.
No, Draken on his own yet again. And once again, NiP, whether it's indecision or purely just a lack of maneuverability, maybe even inertia getting across the map, they run out of time again. This time, Draken at least going to keep this AWP. But the Ninjas need to go with something a little bit more like their namesake, a little faster, a little more punchy. So far, they've been stifled at all entries to all sites.
NiP's pacing has been a bit on the line, hasn't it? They've run out of time kind of the last couple of things. It's a bit of a problem.
Sometimes see it from Na'Vi on maps like Train, even on their T side. It can happen, but sometimes you need that decisiveness that we kind of know NiP for when it comes to their executes, Lauren. It's not exactly like this is usual.
No, this does feel extremely slow for them. And maybe just trying to allow time for Draken to get picks, but he's struggling because look how passive LDLC are. They're not really allowing many opportunities. Unless you really commit somewhere, you're not going to find too much. And even now, look towards A. Existence, pretty far back. No one's really playing actively towards middle or long. Maniac's on long, but he's, again, not playing close or towards danger. So they're having to work for this. So I guess that's why he's struggling a little bit to get these initial bits of work done for the NiP boys. But he does obviously do well towards the later part of the round, but by that point, they've almost run out of time. So smoke comes in, goes down towards long. But Maniac can actually commit in between that. So he's going to know this is all but a clever ruse unless they hear steps danger. They're going to commit towards long, pull Alex across, and again, it's NiP hitting middle, this time a lot quicker.
Alex, though, has a great position to catch Get Right off, and neither of those other LDLC players actually had to show their faces at all. They've got some lovely crossfire set up here. It's very, very hard to break this, and that's being evidenced right now as NiP are down to 2 players. And Draken's just stuck on long. He's going to have to deal with 2 players if he wants to pressure that one anyway. Flash over. Oh, Maniac's waiting for him, and he just takes him down effortlessly. And as Forrest left, conservationist fans be like, that's done. 3-5 for LDLC, and they bring back those rounds all on the trot. Twanu, a big part, actually, of why NiP have been struggling to access a lot of these sites.
Yeah, I'm kind of impressed with how he's playing so far. Decent enough, and it's tactical pause time. It might be fair NiP if I'm going to take a bit of a guess, just purely because they've seemed to have hit a brick wall here. It's, you know, the pacing's not quite working out for them. LDLC have a good read on it. Maybe just a quick discussion as to how do we feel we can now kind of overcome this and change up a little bit of what's been going on. Is there a possibility for it? And there certainly will be. It could be a quickening of pace, a different approach, different hits throughout the map. They've really not tried too much. We've got that kind of slow play throughout the map. We had Get Right trying to get control in towards drop eventually, and then the play up middle, a couple of plays up long. But NiP, yeah, seeming a little bit flat so far when it comes to really hitting, at least in the last couple of rounds. It seems that LDLC finally have their number here, and they've got the utility to work with it. They've got everyone on the decent weapons. You've got Twanu now getting good info by B platform. He's not being too afraid to peek it. And yeah, it's hard for Drake, and it seems, to get into this matchup as much as he was in Trey, and they're just not giving him those opportunities.
We did allude to that on the desk segment as well, that this might not be a map where he can really succeed or has the tools to do so. And when it feels like NiP right now, actually, if it's not Get Right, they're playing around, it is Draken. They're playing around the alt picks, and that's how they're sort of kicking off their rounds to begin with. At least makes their executes a lot more easier to set up here. But again, Maniac's had a good performance. He's playing up on long. And do remember, back to the previous map, a lot of the kills were being sort of given by LDLC over towards NiP. A lot of aggressive play towards Ivy or Brown Halls, where information and kills were being offered quite freely. This time, it's a different story. NiP just sort of had to make an educated guess. It's a weird map, because this is a map where both sides kind of don't know what they're going into a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, these two teams have never played each other either. So, again, it's going to be tough for them to figure out what they're doing. And hopefully this is the time out where NiP do figure it out again and regain their control on the T side, because it seemed that they've been struggling to get that back into their hands here. But the buys come out. They do have that little bit of a hero rifle towards Freiburg. The rest onto the upgraded pistols with a touch of utility to supplement it, but not too much. So 2 smokes could be 1 towards danger, possibly. Might save it, just put 1 towards the door. Maybe we'll see what they go for here. Again, not too quick about it all. You still got to get right over by the B halls, so he's still going to be there keeping a bit of a watchful eye on it all. But a slow build through middle, but they're not being too subtle about it.
No, that's a little bit annoying there. That was the attempt for Freiburg to take some damage off of Existence. It was there. I think Exist even got involved in that somewhat. Trade out a player for a little bit of damage. Not what you're looking for as a T-side here. And again, the round comes to a screaming halt. Get Right needs to play this one carefully. He's not forced into drop per se, but he's definitely forced into a more of a compromising position. He has the challenge. Mistu gets him down though. The Tech-9 finds its mark. Going to get himself an M4 as well, but Maniac's just going to tap away up from the rooftop. Forest at least can respond there. So this is going to spread LDLC a little thin, but they're actually committing to the A side here. Correct decision. Draken, the Deagle, close up. And then it was Alex there just testing for a moment. Hoping, I think he is, that Forest can actually get him out of trouble. But Forest doesn't really have any sight lines right now. He's got to commit to the side. He's taking a bit of damage. And Draken can't trade. He's on the wrong side of the armored cart. He eventually gets that one, though. But he's surrounded. 2 players. Existence just tweaks his positioning slightly enough for a shot on Draken.
Yeah, Existence played that quite calm as well in the back of the side. Didn't give away his position too early. Just waited for the other 2 to get played into it as well on the rotate. So it was a good idea from NiP. They actually got quite a lot of damage done considering the investment they had. It's a shame Freiburg was the first to get picked up then as well, considering he was the one with the rifle. But forced down to a Deagle now. He does at least have the flashes, smokes, and mollies to try and help his team out of this one. But outside of that, LDLC getting back into control here. Maniac takes a bit of a linger towards long, but really finds a couple of flames towards his feet. So again, NiP this time with a way heavier lean towards that B side. So might see a bit of commitment here from them.
Yeah, it was actually Freiburg with the early sort of backstop play over towards A long, and not Draken in this case, probably because he had the Desert Eagle. All right, what have you got? You've got a couple smokes here. There are flashes. So NiP can put something together. Dare I say, cobble something together. But again, will it have the elaborate touches, what we see from their other maps? I'm not sure. I think that's a smoking towards Chicken Coop there. Yeah, Twanu can't see the wood for the trees right now, let alone the feathers. NiP, though, Freiburg opens up with that Deagle kill. He gets a second. It's the Deagle doing serious work here for the Swedes, and now Mistu might be surrounded. He knows there's a big threat on the other side of this statue, but he's concerned about the push over towards Slice.
Because there's 2 players there as well, not just one. And yeah, you don't expect them both to be sat there on the verge of the smoke. And Twanu could have done more, but can merely find one. But tries to follow up well, but it's down to Maniac now in this 1v2. The bomb isn't planted. Freiburg's over by Cooper in that little corner by it. And Get Right playing off the stairs. Problem is Get Right's position is pretty good for that, but Maniac lands a blinder. And now Freiburg, 17 HP, took a lot of damage initially. Already got those 2 openers that made this look possible.
Yeah, I don't know if
you
you
need
want to
4.
I don't know don't think you want to be in this position as Freiburg, but he keeps it locked down. His 3 first kills were from the Deagle, and then he switches to the rifle and gets it done, and then he picks up that AWP for Draken. Good recovery from NiP. That hit to the side definitely frazzled LDLC quite a lot. Twanu's impact was nullified with that smoke going in towards Chicken Coop.
Yeah, and I like the idea of the smokes coming out from NiP if they actually utilize that sort of thing. It kind of isolates and kind of negates the presence that LDLC wanted to have towards that statue area, and they're playing quite deep, so they kind of have to leave the site or they commit to it, one of the two, and it leaves you in an awkward spot. But I'm going to go for it again, it seems, NiP, with the 3-man stack, if not 4 players walking up long here. Let's Get Right sitting at the very back of those halls, still making a bit of noise, still trying to be relevant to the round, but seems that maybe Maniac's starting to get a bit of read of this, and Forest a little ahead of the curve here, towards danger, a bit early towards this one. Clears it out, has to be careful of long, there could be one in between. Hence the flash. No one's there though, as they're both stacked towards long this time, Existence and Maniac.
Maniac turning a flash that wouldn't have affected him anyway. He's definitely playing on a knife edge right now. He's got a good angle for this, and that smoke will give him a small gap, whether intentional or not. It still could work in his favor, but Draken finds him. There's smoke there again. Maybe just a little glint of a head at the top of that may have given him the opportunity. As the smoke in front of Existence to obviously re-smoke that gap if required. He'll do it.
Use the flash to pick up the smoke. Puts it back down. Keep eyes on the time. We've seen what's happened in these rounds. This is very un-NiP-esque. It's weird to look at. This slow, very, I guess, almost methodical pace, but
it's a fine line between scared and methodical.
Yeah, they seem to have hit a bit of a brick there, a bit of a brick wall, as Forest goes looking for options down danger, and they merely find the name of it. Now, Alex, again, isolated one towards middle. He can get support, but none of the NiP players want to take the swing to try and help him out. They have gained access to the site, though. Freiburg's there with the bomb, but now everything's been seen by NiP, but at least they hit the shots this time.
And that was good, actually. NiP really made a burst of speed to get themselves onto the bomb site. And that also enabled them to get the surround. Now, Twana found Draken, but that's all he's going to have for this round. So NiP are really forced to grind this one out. They still get it, but there wasn't much time left in the round after getting that plant there. So you can see just how much pressure they're being put on, how many educated guesses and risks they're sort of being forced to take, or in some cases not at all, and just playing it safe. Neither team has good economy. I mean, LDLC's is shocking. Last round, it wasn't great either. Mac 10 for Forest here, so if there's any round you want it in, this is a good way to give yourself a bit of a cash injection midway through the half.
Gonna need it too. LDLC only need to eco really this one round. Forest, though, gonna at least make the most of it. Last time we saw Draken picking up almost 4 here, if I'm not mistaken, so gonna have to live up to that. Freiburg, though, gonna just get into the matter. And there we have it. Nicely done. 5 alive, no worries. Would have been nice to have all the kills on the SMGs, but it gives them a little bit more to work with in the form of their money. But a bike can come back in now from LDLC, so let's see if they can find their response after that timeout we saw from NiP to adjust their T-side approach.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that. What has been different on the T-side approach? Can we really identify it? Was it just a couple things they threw in there? Was it stylistic? Who knows, right?
No idea.
Yeah. It's hard to say, because they played with, honestly, the same pace even following that one.
Well, they went for that B hit, which was a little bit of a difference, but I don't know if we can, like, the slow-paced hit towards A was strange that actually worked out, considering, but just landing your shots, I guess, just helps. But now, Twanu, Mistu, and Alex might be asked a very big question soon by NiP, if they can actually hold these sites. The smokes are probably going to be put down again. In they go, so in towards the site. Last time Freiburg found 2 with the Deagle, and that was huge. That was imperative. They need something similar to that again.
This time they got better weapons for it, though, and Freiburg again, he's at the 4, but he's taken down very quickly by 20. When Alex gets aggressive, he pushes up, finds Exist, even in the odds, and putting them in LDLC's favor now. It's Mistu pressuring forward in from Chicken Coop, and Get Right finds Mistu and Twanu both stacked up on each other. Breaks them both down to bite-sized pieces, and with Draken fighting Maniac, that's the round done. A bit of an error there for LDLC, positional or awareness-based or otherwise. That really hurts them.
Get Right, just somehow get into that spot.
Did he go through Chicken Coop for that?
I don't know.
Because Mistu pushed out of Chicken Coop. Oh, I don't know, man. That's weird.
There is a lot of madness and mayhem when those smokes go down. It's kind of hard to see what's going on, and I thought Freiburg might have actually landed that opener again, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, Get Right making up for it with some incredibly, I don't want to say lucky play, but you don't often get given an opportunity to kill 2 people who are completely unaware of your presence. And then Draken just shuts it down as well with the
Have you played Nova Matchmaking, Lauren?
No.
That's great. A lot of those moments.
I've never sunk that low yet.
Never smurfed?
Nope.
Lauren, clean as a whistle, mate.
I know.
Can't get you on anything.
I'm a good person. Hashtag not on the gear. However, LDLC, Deagles, P2 Swifties, it's looking unlikely, Mitch.
No, odds definitely not favouring LDLC right now. And they've all made this mass migration over towards A. Interesting.
Thank you, Observer.
I don't know
Was
if there's
that
been
Rush?
I don't know if it's been a temperature change, Lauren, or the ice
There
flows
it
have
is.
melted. Whatever it is, LDLC just got a feeling for it. Maybe the Wolves shedding their coats. Must be time to go towards warmer climates. But NiP may well choose this site. He just has the bomb. So far, he's going with the rest of NiP. It may not even matter here. Twanu's been able to avoid certain... Yeah, about that. Draken finds him. He's going to say to avoid a death, but now Mystery's in a position to do, well, decorate the walls by the looks of things. And now it's 2 players left in LDLC, 2 pistols in the game. There's always a chance. Okay, pistols in CSGO. Lovely things that they are. Existence also finds Draken starting to heat up a little bit more there, but no, heading into the last round of the half, NiP have got themselves that 6-round buffer after yet again another very back and forth start to the match.
Yeah, it feels like LDLC don't quite have the depth to go to that second level. As soon as NiP come up with something, it's very hard, it feels, for them to come back. But now they've got a double AWP, and I don't know where I stand on Existence being part of that AWPing duo. He's not shown me much this game, at least. At least on Train, there wasn't much to talk about. So maybe this is something to look towards. I know a lot of people still just don't like the double AWP on this map, at least CT side as well, specifically. But yeah, I'm not sold. So again, what positions do we have coming in from? Can we have a little check into the AWPers? We've got Existence over at Long towards A, and Twanu playing towards Statue. So a bit of a 4-1, just purely because you do have that AWP presence towards A, but he's got to hold his ground. And he's got 3 players possibly coming his way, so keep your eyes on Existence. He can't mess this up.
Flash comes in. Existence is able to turn that one. He knows there's going to be pressured in a moment, but it's just him. It's him up against at least 3 players at this stage. And even with Maniac rotating now, there won't be a trade situation really put together unless this happens. Existence backs away. Correct decision, knowing what we know. Would be very, very difficult for him to face that many players down. That's more Guardian's domain. And he's just going to play it cool for the moment. He actually pulls back all the way over towards Juliet, if I'm not mistaken. So, anyway. Get Right's hoping for some late aggression. NiP are hoping that LDLC come with something of their own, maybe just deliver themselves, but it hasn't happened. So now, inside of 40 seconds, the Ninjas have to pull the trigger.
We've got to be keeping eyes as well towards Existence. If, I think as Forest takes a step out in towards middle at the same time, this could be problematic. Manet's going to hear Long as well, but they already have a player watching this. So 2-player crossfire towards Long, 1 piece dismantled. Now Alex goes down as well. Existence does what he needs to. He found Forest, but he goes back in for more. That's a risky move if I've ever seen one. It does not work out well for him.
Yeah, again, the AWP in Existence's hands doesn't exactly thrill us. Bomb planted, there was very little time left in the round, as per usual, but LDLC play it by, NiP play it by fine margins, I should say. And backed into the corner. Doesn't really bother him too much. He knows there's another player on the hill. Wanted to go for the Deagle, but Exist tasted away from him. The T side for NiP actually really evolving into something quite nice there, Lauren. 11 rounds, plays 4. Once again, LDLC have a big task on their plate in that second half. We'll be back to see how they manage it after the break. And it's amongst this rough-hewn stone work that NiP start off with a bang. Their T-side, arguably, Lauren, started quite slow. Very ponderous. In fact, some rounds even running out of time, but they managed to stack on a few rounds towards the end of the half to make it 11 and 4.
Yeah, it felt like LDLC found their reply, but it was a fleeting one. Only being able to really get 4 rounds beside them, it wasn't great. NiP adjusted, came back even stronger, and showed us what they can do. Now, it's the turn of the half. LDLC, their T-side on train, left a little to be desired. Hopefully, they have a little bit more in store for us this half.
And now a chance to see what NiP puts together on this CT side. Maybe more opportunities for Druck and actually to have that impact. Okay, so Existence this time, actually LDLC come out with a bit of utility on this pistol round, something to actually play towards one of these sites. First flash comes in, slows Misty up a little bit, and Forrest is going to get himself set up in this corner. Be able to back away if he needs to, but Freiberg to receive in drop. Finds one, but LDLC are really piling on. Forrest, though, gets an easy one, and Existence was far too slow to respond to that one. The communication perhaps was a bit too slow, or even the realization of the fact. Either way, the bomb is loose up on that B long. Now, Draken in the top of drop here, so he's going to fall down. Be able to see this double facing. It's just not a good position to be in at all, especially with LDLC picking up 2 USPs to themselves. So that's a pistol round coming up for the Wolves here to start them off.
You just call them the Wolves.
It's a wolf.
It's a little dog, little cat.
It's a wolf.
No.
Is it? It's wolf.
That's not what LDLC means. Little dog, little cat.
Does it actually mean that?
Someone told me it once, and I'm just going to stick with it now as if it's
Little dog,
gospel
little
truth.
Okay.
It could be complete lies, but I really like the idea of it.
It's a French company, so I somehow don't feel it's... Anyway.
Ask them. We'll find out how this goes, because it's not looking so good for NiP in this one, because purely they have nothing to play with. It's not like Train. They can't just turn it around. So, Get Right and Draken might just have to accept their fate at this point. Deagle's to hand, at least. And Maniac, you gonna feed? Yeah, nice little bit of feed. Good stuff. And Draken weighing off in the wings as well, in case anyone else decides to help out the NiP cause.
He's got a family, Lauren.
Yes.
Get Right and Draken now. Completely zoned out from their sight. The smoke is going to make entry impossible for now. And they seem to be okay with that. Obviously, Get Right managing to salvage that UMP. Draken still with the Desert Eagle in hand, so it's not exactly a negligible investment in this round for NiP. Right to hold on to some of this stuff as long as they possibly can. Draken having another decent map, to be honest. He's definitely been laying on the stats, especially after his performance on Train, which was nearing 30 kills. We have a chance to really start to stretch his legs a bit more in this half in that next round. NiP have a little more money to work with. Maybe the next one, in fact.
Yeah, we'll see what if they can make anything happen with this. It's not much. Fair LDLC, farming time. Enjoy it. Couple of rifles. Twanu gonna be picking up the UMP as well. He's gonna be giving that one over. And you got Maniac and Existence as the 2 riflers coming through. Well, I guess if you want to put it that way. Draken trying to find anything. Not gonna get it. Maniac denies that. Nice old nade to keep Freiberg at bay. Spots out of the head, but he can't make anything happen with it as Alex is there with the UMP. And so far, LDLC just taking the fights that they've been given to them and winning them out. Yeah,
really not much to say about these last few rounds. NiP have just not had little to play with, but also not had a big impact in many of these rounds either. Very quiet on this front. Alex keeping them busy, though. He's down to 2%. Molotov thrown over towards a platform, going to force NiP back, but into the crossfire there. Misty was waiting. Doesn't complete the kill, though, and Exist finds Existence. Oh, love it. Love me some EUCS names. The bomb still dropped in halls at this stage. Twanu's forging ahead over towards that A side. I think Misty's already checked it and made it clear because he's got himself into this cheeky little spot. But Forest, no one is really going to be ready for that. It's traded out, though. That's quite big for NiP. Even if they're trying to keep a cap on the economy for LDLC, that's not a bad way to do it.
No, but surely not going to find much more at this point. Good, though, to put the money down towards the side. Going to deny that going down too comfortably. Bomb's actually not even crossed yet. 30 seconds left, and it feels like the longer that clock ticks down, you're thinking there's more opportunity almost for things to just go terribly wrong. But Twanu was ready for it. Kept eyes towards that balcony area, and he's not going to let anything slip through. But now NiP can get their buy-in, so just have to suffer through that, not going for that back and forth phase that we saw kind of, I guess, hinder a little towards Train initially. This time, smoothing it out.
Well, it's interesting that there isn't any inclination towards some sort of Tech-9 play and drop for NiP. They haven't even touched it. In fact, neither team really has.
Yeah, at this point, Draken, though, going to have to be on the glass cannon and none out for LDLC. I think Twanu just gets stick in the UMP for now. And that is a disaster for Draken. That's not the worst it could be. He's still alive, I guess, but it's just not what you're hoping for at the start of a round so early on. For no information gained.
Free damage is big. I mean, despite that, no information gained for NiP. The same could be said of LDLC. They really don't really know what's on the other side of that smoke. No hit markers in CS, Lauren. It's not a thing. Praise Gaben for that one. So Draken will play a little bit further back on A now. It's just fine for him. Just trying to keep LDLC at arm's length now that he's a little bit more fragile. And now, this is time spent for LDLC. Time that many teams spend not even encountering foes on this map, clearing out all the corners that they need to, because any one of them can be a death trap.
You can see it's just pretty methodical approach from LDLC so far. Draken's spot is still so deadly. But Twanu has the bomb on long, and we've got 2 players moving away from him. I don't know if this is meant to be some very elaborate fake.
Strawn exists back towards B.
You're going to need a lot more than just that. This is a very committed hit now they put the mollies there. So yeah, 2 players now rotating off A is good. That means maybe it's go time, but look at the time left, 30 seconds. This is one of those crazy bits. It's going to be an A split, surely. They're going to get through window and then try and get connected just to speed this one up. Get right, still in
He's
position.
in trouble.
And look at Twanu, who's not moved us an inch. 20 seconds now, what is going on here? Why are these rounds going so crazily late? At least leaving it to the last possible chance here, and it can all go wrong. Get right at the helm of this. He wants to deny them everything, but no, Twanu does make it to the side, but with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, and then even the odds and numbers as well. NiP have managed to just chew off the edges of LDLC's formation. Misty, I don't think he knows that Exist is on that side of the armored car. It's hard to say. The smoke prevents him from seeing Forest right now, but Forest finds Misty up on the high. Now Twanu's in a bit of a compromising situation. There's a light pole in the way, son. And Exist will complete that kill. LDLC get their plant, but this is NiP finding their way back into the half. Again, these teams, it's not decisive play from either LDLC or NiP on these T sides, Lauren.
No, and it's such late round hits.
Why is it late? Is it purely because
I
they're...
don't know. They're both playing a very mental game. Existence, I'm not surprised about. He likes to kind of cause rotates and try and pull people away from it. And the theory was good, but you leave it so late, you always leave it down to a little bit of chance.
I remember seeing the downside of that mental game in their Inferno match against Fnatic, where Existence was early rotating in like 50 to 60% of rounds on that CT side.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So 12-7 now. LDLC to get the plan at least. They're doing all right for money. They can still get a nice buy into this, so they'll be fine. I'm hoping there's maybe a switch up of pace here. I've got to say, I don't like that very slow hit that can just, go wrong in such a small instance of time. It probably wasn't a huge factor there, but, you looked at Gera, you could feel if you got that 3rd kill, that's round done. But at this point, LDLC have a lot to play for. 1 minute and 25 seconds on the board. And at the moment, they're still just probing around the map, trying to keep control, see if there's any aggression, any boost, any sort of quirky play. And it looks like we're going to have that late boost coming in towards the tree sort of area over by B. I think Exist is up there. Forest going to play from the site. Freiburg towards drop. At the moment, just Maniac and Twanu going to be trying over towards A. But that is a big bit of impact. Mistu finding Freiburg opens up drop. That will split NiP now.
Yeah, that's the option as well to go for that A split we talked about earlier on. Just do a molly out towards connector. That's just going to force Get Right inside B. He knows he can't allow this to happen. Get Right knows he can't just walk onto the B side and be okay with that. But I think by now he's realizing there's not going to be any push out from flower beds.
Maniac's position is so good here. He's going to be ahead of where they expect him to, just walking up mid. They took a gamble in NiP. They only had that one player on long, and Get Right, of course, pulled himself across a little bit. So again, him just being there, ready for that rotate. As soon as Get Right came back through the doors, he was ready and waiting, and they won the battle out on long. Now the bomb can be planted. LDLC with a very good approach here. Again, quite slow down to the last 20 seconds, but job done. No worries about this one.
There's definitely a feeling that NiP want to save these guns. Too far away from the action to get anything done, and just slow rolls on both sides. I have to wonder about that kill in drop, actually, where Forest was standing. Where Misty's standing over towards his left there. A little bit out in the open. Maybe he was on the move. Either way, you can't afford to give those kills away. Yeah, Misty walks into Exist there. There's ample time to go for maybe one more pick off here if LDLC wanted it, but no. They probably fear that NiP have some sort of crossfire set up on the B site. Not really worth investing more weapons into, although they're pretty well off money-wise.
Yeah, LDLC, round on the board, job done. Keeping so many players alive will keep that money up. They weren't too flush for cash. I think they can imagine they just want to keep this one as stable as possible. They know that NiP were on the ropes as well. They've only got those 2 guns. They're going to force around it though. 2 Deagles, 1 UMP going to come back into this one. NiP struggling to keep themselves not being irrelevant early on, but they're very much at the whim of LDLC here, who are playing quite the slow-paced game that's very hard for a CT side team to put themselves in the right positions, of course. It's always tricky. But at the moment, LDLC again with the same sort of approach. Twanu and Maniac over by A. GetRight's going to risk it. It's a 4-1. So they're going to put him here on his own towards middle, and the rest over towards B. You've got 4 players there, so Freiburg towards drop, Exist on the other side of it as well. I'm not sure if he's boosted up yet. Has he been boosted? Yeah, he is. So he's up by the tree. Drake and close towards platform, and Forest there as well. So much attention being put towards this.
This time around, Misty's not going to have an easy pick-off in towards drop, although LDLC would just love that. Freiburg's going to sit out towards the flower beds, give himself a route of escape if required. Misty fancies a smoke. Not towards the flower bed side. Now, NiP might read this a little bit earlier on here. They might have an opportunity to. With GetRight playing as forward as he is, he might be able to spot, gets it. Well, I don't know. I feel like this is a pretty dangerous position to try and retreat back from. Yeah. Grenade in the door. Ooh, that hurts.
You don't normally get away with this spot. You can fall back if you're very lucky, but most of the time you're going to just have to commit to it. And he knows that. He's got friends behind him, though. He's got Freiburg there, but now the 2 players are longer going to keep Freiburg busy, if not keep him dead. But GetRight will not go down without a fight. Going to take one with him. But by this point, you're down to 30 seconds, and NiP merely have 2 players. But what is going on here? The bomb's with Alex, and he's not on the site. 25 seconds. Keep eyes on that timer. If Forrest gets that kill, it's still game on. Drake can be so relevant to this.
Yeah. Let's see what Draken can do with the time factor in the game now. He's actually on the lower side of the hill. Twanu checks that as well. He's got an AWP. This is dangerous for Draken. It has to be a plant from Twanu, though. He's going to plant in the safest spot possible, one where he can't be interrupted. What he doesn't know is where Draken's moved to. Probably can surmise that Draken's moved up towards the cart or even in towards Juliet. There he shows himself. That's risky stuff, but Draken, he fluffs his lines. The spray doesn't connect. Again, it misses. Now switching over towards the Desert Eagle. No kit on this man, mind you. On the roof, will it work? No! Twanu shuts him down with the Tech 9. That's the kind of round where those newer players, maybe their metal hasn't been tested to that degree yet, can crumble.
Oof, that was close. So close for Twanu then, I think with 4 kills in the end, so putting up a bit of performance. Can we hit the tab as well? Let's have a little look at how people are doing. We don't mind, observers? Yeah, thank you. GetRight's still doing pretty well for himself. Exist doing well. Draken's not seemed as flashy right now, you know what I mean? He's not had those crazy games, but thank you very much, observers. Very nice of you. But right now, LDLC, same thing. Rinse and repeat. You're not getting much more from that. Drake can get frustrated by it. Going to take the fight right towards Maniac.
Okay.
Wins it out somehow. A little bit frustrating if you're LDLC. That's not a sort of kill you should be losing in these rounds, at least to that. You know, they shouldn't be able to pick that up just walking out on long, but strange things have happened.
I feel like this game definitely... I mean, Cobblestone is a map that often gives us tracts of play like this. Very, very slow. I mean, and picking out Maniac early on here is all well and good for NiP, but the only thing it gives them is a man advantage, and they're still, economically speaking, not great. Especially with Alex now can roll around and make some money with the Mac 10. He'll be the first off, the first in, the first to get the kill. Forest down. Exist also falls to Mistu. Freiburg with potential to interrupt him. I think Twanu's looking straight at him. So he'd just be feeding himself to an AWP at this stage. He's thinking about it.
He's thinking about, do it. Oh, no. Oh.
Do it big? No, I don't think.
Nice reflexes there from Twanu, but it's a little for nothing at this point. It might be hard for them to actually get out of this, though. If you look at the positions, if they don't just follow Alex away, it could get a little bit rough. Both GetRight and Draken waiting for those exits. Draken's got himself a rifle as well. He can keep hold of that. That'd be a nice little touch for him, but LDLC, I think, reading this one relatively well. Alex has kind of trailblazed the path of safety, and they're going to follow it with everything they have. So looking like they want to escape together, keep everything they have, even if it's just the Mac 10 on Alex as well. You can upgrade that nice and comfortably, drop it out if he wants to, and all will be good in the LDLC camp. 4 alive bomb plant. It's heating up now. Get right. And Draken, unchallenged, stay alive. And they can buy now. Draken can drop that out and get himself an AWP if he fancies it. So this might be game on time. They need to actually start being far more effective in this game, because so far on that CT side, it's been a little bit lackluster. In comparison to T side, at least.
Yeah, and they really started to run out ahead of LDLC on their T side. The rounds were actually, in general, still quite close. But NiP just don't seem to be comfortable in this position. They can't do much except wait. They can't dictate the flow of the game. They can't force errors. They can't force rotations or anything like that. Freiberg's found Mistu.
Why did Mr. just...
He must have just tried to drop down. Maybe he went for like a peek into that back corner, but Freiberg was playing up a lot closer.
Maybe.
There he is. He got dicked though, Alex there. Has to be careful.
But at least they trade out, so they don't just lose a man for absolutely nothing gained. So they're going to at least find one back. But look how up close NiP are playing towards this ledge as well. You've got Exist very, very close by. Get right pushing himself up into that new, not necessarily new corner, but you know, it's sometimes you don't check on it as much. You can molly it out. We'll see if LDLC fall for this, because Get right is completely blind, pushes up towards the stairs, and Twanu walks into it. Chooses his battles, chooses his fight, and he comes out the victor, finding existence comfortably after that first frag. And now Alex left with an impossible task.
He's played that really well, Get right. That switch towards the left not only saved his life, but guaranteed himself another kill. And Alex, the man who was damaged in the trade earlier in the round, realizes he doesn't really have any options. Now, given the pace and how the flow of these last 2 rounds have gone, you can see the economy is still okay for LDLC. It's a little bit skewed at this stage. But again, guns can be bought up, weapons can be traded. What's really important is that NiP have only lost 1 player. So replenishing their arsenal, so to speak, won't be nearly as difficult. It'll just be Forest that needs to be dropped in the next round.
Alex just waiting it out. Is he up in the old Rapunzel castle? Does he have a nice time? Let's have a look.
He is. Yeah. Checking out his nice rug.
Don't know if it really matches. Is it got a good theme of colour in there? I'm not sure. I'll have a little look.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible decor, Lauren.
I'm very into this, Mitch.
I know. Don't you remember that night we had on... we had like a
Mirage,
30-minute pause on Mirage.
Yeah, yeah.
We had to look at all the rugs. That was something special, really.
Nothing like flying around a map and looking at the weird areas of it. You know what I mean? Like the massive crane that's outside Cobble for no reason. But we'll come back to that in a round that's not going to be as interesting as this one, just purely because of look at what they have. LDLC have an arsenal to work with. They have the op on 20. They have what they need, and they're back in the driving seat, as do NiP.
This is must win.
Yeah, whoever wins this round, this gets a little bit, you know, interesting now. That could be the building blocks for LDLC to actually form this comeback and look deadly on this T side, or it's that first nail in the coffin towards LDLC from NiP. You get to 14 rounds, it's starting to look a little one-sided on that sort of thing. But for now, not to be the case. Get Right's shimmied his way back over towards B, but Maniac's slowly working his way around. I think that was just a little bit of a gimme there almost. Get Right does eventually end back up towards A. So Maniac encroaching towards danger though. Draken right on the other side here.
Playing really close with this AWP. This could really come back to bite Draken, because Maniac's already gotten himself up in here. Draken needs to have incredibly fast reflexes. Oh, he's made sound there. Maniac couldn't chase this one. Draken quickly trying to get back out. He still may not expect this though. Flick down, no, way off. Over towards the bottom left. And now Maniac trying to explode forth and, excuse me, use that to his advantage. But he does get shut down. At least there's a trade there.
Spur on the move now. Look at this. They're going to instantly hit towards that B side. Forest and Exist better be ready. They're still in good spots for this, but a little outnumbered and a little outgunned. But Exist is going to fight the good fight, finding 2 from drop, and brings it back to a possible situation.
Always pushed very quickly around the statue by Alex, though. Didn't give him any time to adjust. So Bomb's going to go down, and Get Right has a kit and 19 points of health.
And he's just been spotted as well. Twanu just saw him. Get Right's getting out of there.
Save this.
Yep. Time to go. NiP, where's your CT side been? They've picked up, what, 2 rounds now?
Super average. Yeah, really average.
I mean,
losing kills in places like drop has hurt them. This dangerous play around danger, ironically enough, from Draken. Yeah, I get you want to go for something aggressive. You know, he's playing A on his own, wants to try and make something happen. But he makes a incorrect assumption about how close Maniac could possibly be. He's still looking straight towards middle, but Maniac's already inside danger off to the side. It's so easy to pressure him out of that position. It's actually very lucky that Get Right was able to respond quickly enough to trade that kill on A. But then the B push came, and again, LDLC could just use their weight of numbers to push in. That's the problem in this map, right? Like, you always have to split in some way. 4-1 is the accepted way of doing it. But that was 3 and 2 in that round, right? So LDLC actually had the player advantage to pressure onto the B side with, because NiP tried to be more robust in their coverage.
Just a couple things, Mitch. That's all it is.
We could go on for hours about it, really. And the rate this game's going, it might be an opportunity. It's very slowly played.
Yeah, it is. But it's some good CS for now. LDLC building back into a nice competitive matchup. What we wanted to see, maybe out of train that we never got to see. This is maybe the T side they didn't have, so we get to see a little bit of vengeance from their side in the back of their minds, reminding themselves, it didn't look so pretty on train, boys. Let's find something here. Geralt could be up to task. Nice little nade towards Maniac. Just slithers through.
That's the Badger.
That's when you're sitting there going, great. That's great. That's exactly what I wanted. But
Oh
good damage,
my.
get right. Just reading the gameplay so well so far. A very deep smoke, I think, just coming in from Existence here towards the doorway. Yeah, that's not even from long. That's all the way back on towards the other side of middle. But Get Right is still here. Just going to risk that they're not going to be crossing through from long. He's going to just keep this watch towards middle. He's got support, and LDLC are struggling now.
The fact that Freiberg wins that fight out with a P250 is quite astonishing. He gets himself that AK now. NiP can really start to apply a little bit more pressure, go for the jugular, as it were. Existence sprays one, knows it exists, he's going to be there. Shot towards the side, Draken gets him very low. Get Right's going to fall to Mistu, who's playing up fairly close at the same time. He's going to leap upon the side, and Draken again has been left upon. No chance to defend himself, but it's still going to be a tight one. NiP have to allow the bomb to be planted and play a retake. Oh, I love this spot.
But look at Maniac and look at Forest. The timing on these two.
Oh, he's just behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Timing is going to be so imperative to this round, and Forest won't expect it at all. And Maniac?
Maniac?
No! No, that's not a round you missed this on. And now Exist knows where they both are, but Maniac is still low, but he's in a good position for the plant, and Mr. should be just buying time. He takes the fight, but... Oh, Maniac.
All fairness to Maniac,
No!
you do...
No!
You do have a feel sometimes for how long it takes to kill someone in CS, right?
No.
Time to kill is pretty quick. Sometimes you're like, yeah, a couple of those bullets and I'm done. Especially when you're 2v2 and he's thinking like, do I need to cover an angle and stop?
They've just taken this time out to make him dwell on this. They're like, you think about what you've done.
Yeah, exactly.
You think about what could have
Astralis to Fnatic.
been. Yeah, that
What was that, Columbus?
I can't remember.
It's like 16, like 14-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so BM.
Love it. Absolutely love a bit of it. But yeah, no, this is getting a little bit interesting now, because look at the scoreline. 13-12. It's all back looking nice. And the money for NiP is still in the bin.
They're not playing well, Lauren, honestly. They're not. Like, Draken, for me, has not been able to really make his mark on this map at all.
But not many AWPers can. I'm not going to be too harsh on it.
Yeah, so do they have the potential to put him on a rifle and play the classic NiP style?
I don't know. I don't think they know yet either. Let's bear in mind, for them to kind of add this new guy in and then have the 5 map pool, or however many maps they want to have in their map pool completely sorted, you're asking a lot. So maybe just not a map for him either yet. He's just warming into it. He's having a perfectly fine performance, but you think of the impact he brought in the others, it was quite substantial. It was very, very visceral in that aspect. There's Tuan, who's doing quite nicely for himself. He saw what he's been doing over B Plateau. Yeah,
I mean, in Draken's case, even if he's not going for rifles all the time, he doesn't want to turn it into like a Little, for example. The Russian player who's incredibly good with an AWP, but his percentage of kills with rifles is incredibly low by comparison.
Yep. No, you're right.
Fluffy Bears, Fluffy Gangsters, that was
Fluffy
the team.
Gangsters, that's it.
Great team.
Yeah.
Good times.
God, when was that?
That
one
was
of the qualifiers?
the 2016 Cologne qualifiers when we were in Cat Pizza.
Nice.
Them 8 hour, like
They
4,
were
like it was 8
ridiculous.
best of ones, I think, each day.
Yeah, that was some
Quality CS there.
Yeah, that was some long days, but
That was where we saw Nuke start to come into the picture. It was
true.
just released at the time where teams like I think Heroic,
gave it a good run.
Dignitas,
Yeah, Dignitas tried it out a lot.
Empire actually had a decent showing on Nuke, especially.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was the first time I really got to see the Danes starting to pick up Nuke and actually look relatively decent on it. So that was quite an interesting time. But back into present day, 13-12. LDLC have the money, they have the momentum, but will they have the game? NiP still lead this by a very thin margin, and at the moment, it doesn't seem as though they're able to hold on to it.
Looks like maybe a faster play this round. Perhaps given away by the fact that Alex again has a Mac 10 in hand. And if NiP win around like this, I'm done. Like this game has been very, very difficult to keep your finger on the pulse of, as it were. That's a calling card, a hallmark of this map. All right, Freiberg going to get himself the counter boost up. Misty's actually watching this. The bomb's set in front of him. The timing might not quite be there. So Draken gets a little bit of a tickling from the MAC-10, but Alex has gone very low. The double face of pistol seems to have forced him back for the time being. Freiberg drops in. He might have fucked this one. No, the headshot comes in. And no one's there to respond. Freiberg gets that one for free, gets himself an AK, and Alex is going to be collapsed upon. Low on health, but still wins it out. Freiberg, oh, I almost figured he damaged his own teammate there. But Alex finally goes down. It's a 3v3, but this A side is teeming with LDLC players.
Yeah, bomb plant now has come in. And they're so far away, the other two players, but they've got the rifle on Forest, which is quite important. Anything recovered at this point is a bonus, because they're so low on money. And Twanu desperately wants to keep hold of his AWP as well. He's not exactly flush for cash, but it'll be fine in the end.
So, hey, Chris, want to grab this MAC-10 and go ham? Nah, mate.
Absolutely
Not this time.
And
I don't think he
right.
says, nah, mate. Probably something a little bit different, but
No, you
he's
don't
not
reckon
having
that's the Swedish go-to?
No, you know, to be fair, a lot of European people actually use mate. I think it might be the British influence.
I'm so sorry that we influence any of you. And get right. Just gonna die to the bomb there.
Yep.
Not gonna feed money over.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, different way to make money back. I'll get back to the point maybe later on. The MAC-10 will be important if you want to build up a little bit of a bank here. Well, NiP actually don't go for it. They say, no, we don't have rounds to spare like that. We're not looking at, you know, investing in a burgeoning economy. The time to strike is now. And LDLC, to win this round, they're pretty much going to run away with the whole thing, Lauren, unless NiP can do something wacky again.
This is different, though, from LDLC. They normally have those two players patiently waiting over by A. Is this the switch up of pace? This is their response. This is them going, okay, you took the timeout. We're going to just quicken the pace. It's a risk as well. As they're not actually hitting the site that fast. They're waiting on the smokes. Alex is just completely smoked out and somehow he's made it out onto the site. And now he takes a quick fight, but trades instantly. Forrest is there. Exist finds one for himself, but it's a 3v3.
This might keep things pretty close here. Exist is challenged out in the statue. There were 3 players. NiP may have thrown this one to the walls, so to speak. Get right at least finds Maniac and can play a little bit closer now. Mistu now falls. The bomb's loose. It wasn't planted yet. Twanu's got a minute, but the pressure now being applied. He's going to have to wade through it himself. Smoke to sight. Draken can now reposition safely, or imply that he's repositioning. It's going to be a boost here for Get Right. He got the position. Fantastic round from Get Right there. Received that contact play from LDLC very comfortably, very deftly as well. Those few kills put NiP on the trajectory for the winning round. Now, money still not very good for them, but it'll be enough.
It's not great either for LDLC. Even though they've had so many rounds on the trot, they have been quite close. They've been brought down to lesser numbers on a regular enough basis that you're seeing this. 2 UMPs, everything else is fine, but it's still not going to work with no AWP for Twanu, so he's not going to have exactly the ideal weaponry he wants. And the quickening of pace didn't work for LDLC, so surprised to see them go back to this, but they're going in with sheer force. Drake in that time slapped back out of this NiP lineup, and look at the turn of events. LDLC turning tail and running.
Now, NiP have 2 players over at B at this stage. It was Forrest and Get Right. How they want to distribute them now, though, remains to be seen. It looks like they actually want to put Forrest into B. Expect another 30, maybe even 40 seconds before decisive action is taken on one of these sites for LDLC now that pace has slowed up a little bit more. Still 3 at B for NiP. Still convinced that something's afoot there. The only player over at A is Get Right, who's actually not given himself much room to work with.
No, considering he's taking the gamble that they're not going to be walking up long. And you can see the paranoia kicking in, like, well, we've not seen them for a while. Are they actually going to be here? 2 players actually crossing over. I don't think he saw it either, so that's an even bigger problem. They can now just encroach, swing out. He can take fights that he simply can't handle. And now he's heard a flash. He might need to call for backup. Yeah, it's time to get some support over here. He's not going to take the direct fight. He flashes out, but somehow catches them turning the flash. Beautiful play. I don't know how he's gone away with it.
Only Get Right, really, especially in this game, has been able to produce those kind of moments. But now, the hard work needs to be done. It's nose to the grindstone, but LDLC have already been whittled down to 2 players, and the bomb is loose on the hillside. Misty manages to sneak into the backside, but Forrest is there. Good little adjustment for him, and Twanu now 26 points of health. Exists behind the armor car, now steps forward of it. 15 rounds to 13 for NiP, and they've broken LDLC potentially economically at the perfect moment.
Yeah, this is very surprising to see coming through, this sort of resurgence of form. It felt like they were done for, you know. tactical pause time, of course. In case the game wasn't taking long enough with these very slow, methodical rounds, they are going all the way. They're not going to take any risks here. And why not? LDLC have had a tough time in this. They've been kind of teased with the, don't worry, guys, you'll get the second map. You've got this. The T-side's starting to look better. Got a bit of money coming up for you guys. And then they get shattered just in those last couple of seconds. They've kind of moved away from what was kind of working for them for a little while. They went to that slightly more dedicated B hit rather than having those two players over by A initially and then slowly building their way through. I don't know if I like that sort of change towards the end of their play. It seemed to have not worked out for them, considering they lost both rounds they've tried it on now. Of course, with their money in dire straits, it's even worse for them. It's time to ponder over how can we make the supply now? How can we make it work? We know they've got good money. What's our best opportunity here?
And LDLC's pistol rounds, by and large, in this match have consisted of, aggression. Not a heck of a lot of finesse when it comes to executions. But there's a little bit of a smattering of money around LDLC for things like armor and sort of grenades and the like. So if they have anything prepared, maybe an elaborate execute onto the site. Again, there's always the option to play Tech 9s through drop. We've seen some teams play that really effectively.
Yep.
I would say a B site is where they need to be going. They don't really have the kit to work A.
No, I honestly, I don't doubt that. You can play up long, though, if they fancy their chances. And this is what they'll be discussing, is where's our best bet? You can do the play up long. NiP have had Get Right playing over here a fair bit. Draken's been occasionally over this way. It's been kind of hard to read because their buys have been shoddy as well from NiP, so they've stacked a lot. They've done 4-1s a lot. But so far, the response coming in, looking at the repurchase here, is going to be pretty much Tech 9s.
Tech 9s, baby.
Now, I'm hoping we see a bit of attention towards drop, but if you're NiP, you know they're going to be on a shoddy buy, so the most gone to place will always be drop, but we'll see who really decides how this game goes.
Sat in drop.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for where he sets up.
Yeah, this is a bit of test of the metal now for LDLC. Time to go, boys. It's the last real hurrah into this game, I guess, and I don't know how they're going to really come around this one. Look at this aggression from Draken, though. And there we go, met instantly by Force.
Yeah, the flash in, forcing them back. Get Right, though, can pretty comfortably just smoke over towards that door and not have to worry about it too much. I'm very interested in how things are going to work at B, though. Twani's still not sure where to go with that bomb. All right, LDLC, play it slow. They want to set up, group up, and go for an explode. Get Right through this. Yeah, okay. Through the smoke. Not going for too much. Oh, okay, okay. Righto, yep.
Why in this round do this? I don't get it.
So that's a rifle drop to Maniac now. Suddenly, doors start opening for LDLC. Freiberg again, the man we expected to be receiving this aggression through drop. Only has a UMP, so still needs to be careful. Heads in towards connector. Here it is. It's going to be the flash of the drop in. And it's going to be the Tech Knights now put to the test. Forest is in a good position to receive this. Note there's full armor on all of these T-sides, but it may not matter. Forest finds the headshot on one, and then the second falls. Maniac responding, though, with that rifle that he picked up earlier on and exists now. Compromising position to say the very least is in chicken coop. He's got the bomb loose, but Maniac trades it out. Draken, a lot of aggression from him this game. Some questionable maneuvers now in the 1v2 to try and finish it off.
And we saw him making questionable choices in clutch situations before, so let's see if he can handle some sort of pressure here. Draken now working in slowly, looking for his first opportunity. Alex is still on the site, spots him, good
It's
shot.
happening.
And now Maniac left in the 1v1, going on the long flank, smokes it out. Draken spots him, doesn't get the first, goes back for it, fakes it out again, and Maniac has to deal with it, and there it is. Maniac comes back around. 4 for Maniac, AWP recovered. And a good job from him, and look at the money now for NiP.
Yep, it's back and forth, and has been for the entirety of this game. And NiP just, well, they throw away a couple of opportunities there, Lauren. Credit to LDLC because they secure very convincing trades. And once they hit that B site, most of their utility was sort of used when they got into the drop room. So they had to explode onto the site and sort of do it dry, and it worked out nicely. Now for NiP, it's going to be tough. The scout is out here for Draken. Finds one. Now he needs to find some more here. Just play a little bit daredevil around the corner, see if he can get more than he should. The damage is there. Now what can Freiberg do? The spray is also there. He gets 2 kills. One was with a nade. Now the 3v2.
What is going on? Swanu, 8 HP. Existence, 57. They know where they are. They can actually do this one in NiP. Forest is going for a walk. What is this sort of play? Swanu's found Existence. Now it's a 1v2. Existence has to dig deep on this one, and Forest doesn't let it happen. And of course, that is the round that decides it all. NiP eventually win that, but that's heartbreaking for LDLC.
I really don't know what to say about that one. That was a messy game. Both teams looking good and then simultaneously very bad in the next round. But NiP bring it back despite having less of economy in the last round. Money just doesn't matter in this game and probably not to NiP at the moment. Let's pass it over to the desk though. There's much to be discussed.
Yes, there is, and it wasn't pretty whatsoever for NiP. An 11-4 lead shrinks quickly. LDLC showing good stuff in that comeback, but it is the stars at the end. Get Right has a couple good rounds. Forest has a good round there at the end, and they bring it home for NiP. Now, the important things. You might be wondering what in the hell a toaster is doing on the analyst desk.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know either. It's something that's called Fair Dinkum, which you couldn't even explain.
Blue Aussie experience.
True Blue Aussie experience. All right, that's the segment we'll be getting into.
Can we do the post game, please, now, Jason?
Yeah,
Very important right here.
Okay,
I
let's
don't
take it
think
away.
you highlighted all the really important points.
Ooh.
Sorry, you know, it is a
Drake
succinct segment that I do.
Draken needs to be moved around a lot more.
Yeah, he does.
He shouldn't make a Deddy Orpa of his caliber, the aggressive combat style, just stuck at A-long the entire game.
Where would you like to see him be played?
Roaming. Let him free. Let him off the leash.
We saw
Allow
him try to be
go.
boosted up and drop down.
Yeah, and then he whiffed the
He
boost.
did.
and then-
He did mess it up a little bit.
And then-
but it was an example of how his playstyle doesn't really suit the map, I guess, in a whole.
I think
Who brought that point up in the pre-show?
Hank did. Or was it you?
It was me.
I just think they need to
Just
make
throw
him...
that one out there, Chad.
They just need to make-
If we're going to throw shade at each other, we'll get right back into this.
We just need to make him more active, you know? And I would have liked to seen a
Yeah.
double, not a double AWP, but maybe, you know, have him AWPing behind the statue or Coop, have Get Right as the Deddy A player. He's quite good at, you know, locking down those kind of zones, and then have someone else rotating to him. Both teams had good T sides. They did good posturing, good defaults, waited out utility, took zones, good fakes and stuff by LDLC that I really liked. It was more of a pick-based style coming out from NiP as opposed to execute style.
The CT sides especially, it felt a bit desperate for NiP, I have to say. Like, the only rounds they were really winning there towards the end is when Get Right would find, like, 2 or 3 frags, like, in a spray down by himself and, like, all against the odds, and, like, didn't seem like he could do anything there. They didn't seem comfortable at any point for their CT side. They kept force buying into it, and that last round, testament to it, right? Like, the fact they get away with it in the end of a scout, some UMPs and some Deagles as well. Freiburg, to be fair, he stepped up in a lot of key rounds. Jason, you were kind of happy about that, weren't you?
Yeah, you know, I always say that. Freiburg doesn't always get the massive quantity of kills, but when he does get them, they tend to win the rounds.
Like the last round,
good.
he had the crazy UMP spray down from Connector with the nade.
That gun's getting silly at this point, isn't it?
Isn't it the most fun gun in the... We always have a gun that we're like the CZ, the Tech
There's always got to be one.
There's always
hasn't
one.
there? Yeah, there always
Right
has to be
now it's
one.
the UMP. If they nerf the UMP, you know?
Is the story around this match going to be NiP with a sloppy CT side, or is it going to be a good comeback from LDLC?
It was decent from them, to be fair. Like, they gave us some good rounds and some good clutches and stuff like that. Their approach on the T side was decent. It wasn't like it was NiP completely throwing the game. They were struggling to actually work out what LDLC were doing every single time. So you can't say it was like NiP playing badly as a whole, really. It was both good, as Chad said, both good T sides in both halves. And to be fair, like there were weaker CT moments, and you obviously see Draken, although he gets 20 frags in total, you could see it wasn't really that influential. I think Chad is right. The fact he's stuck towards long 8 is holding a tight angle pretty much could be useless at that point, isn't it? If they keep going towards B and then coming through Connect and splitting A, he's kind of locked out of the round.
Did we see, because I know last night we commented, Draken, very impactful rounds, but also some weird decisions here and there. Did we still see that tonight? Is it just going to be growing pains? We're going to see that consistently for a little bit with him in the NiP?
I think so. Maybe he's just not very good at clutch situations, right? Like he
floundered a bit,
whiffed
though.
with that AK spray. That was a bit... Ugh. I know he was expecting the repick, but he wasted like, I think it was like probably close to 20 bullets on nothing.
Yeah.
And then he had 5 bullets and he whiffed that shot, didn't have anything left, had to go to the pistol. I think maybe some new spots being played by NiP players across the board, right? Because this change has come in. I feel like Forest would have probably been like more towards that A side. I can't actually remember. I'm probably wrong. Some idiot will tell me on Twitter that I have no idea. But I feel like it's just new positions, and the way that they were playing that B platform, that's where the weakness was. It was especially like mid to late round. They seemed out of position. Forest was always trying to take duels from statue. There was no crossfire set up. They weren't really stifling them or doing much damage when they were getting off the platform or on the platform, which is where you want to inflict a lot of pain, especially if you're playing like such a in the sight setup.
Yeah.
few issues, I think, to look at.
Some issues. It was a bit dicey there for NiP at the end, but they do take the win. They get 2 wins on the evening, and they're going to jump further up the standings. They're right back in this playoff race. When we return, we're going to have some Counter-Strike, but we've got the first segment of Fair Dinkum.